we are back for chapter 8 of Third Grade Angels by Jerry Spinelli. So we just finished chapter 6 and 7 recently, so hopefully you were able to watch it. We're going to do our read aloud song, and I'll remind you what we just read. Everybody say read aloud.
Read aloud.
Say read aloud.
Read aloud.
Say R-E-A-D aloud.
R-E-A-D.
Everybody say read aloud.
Read aloud.
Say read aloud.
Read aloud.
Say wiggity wiggity read aloud.
Rickety, rickety, read aloud.
All right, guys, put a little spin on this song today. All right, so we just read, in chapter 6, we read that George, aka Suds, loves to be first, loves to be perfect, wants everything the way he wants it. And remember the class had really gotten in trouble because they did something really silly, broke the lady's hat. So when they got to school the next day, a lot of people had brought Mrs. Sims some apples and some other treats to try to bribe her into getting the halo. And she was like, no, we're not bribing. You cannot earn your halo by bribing me. You cannot buy your halo by bribing me. You can earn it. So that's where we are right now. We just ended where she said she was going to take all the apples and make some applesauce and things like that. But everyone has to earn their halo because just like in school, you have to earn the things you get. We do not give you it. You earn it. All right, chapter 8 is called Perfect. Raise your hand in here if you're perfect. Great. Nobody should have their hand raised because nobody is perfect, right? You might be very close to it, but you're not all the way perfect. You can strive for perfection, but, no one's perfect. All right, chapter 8. For our first work of the day, we started to learn cursive. The 26 letters, capitals and little ones, were written on a green track across the top of the board. You're on there? Oh, cursive. Okay. I was like, what? Our job was to copy the capitals, A to Z, 5 times. I was super neat and careful. I kept the letters perfectly between the blue lines on the paper, except when we had to go below for the J, Y, and Z. Mrs. Sims walked around looking over our shoulders. When she stopped next to me, she tapped her finger on the desk and whispered, "Good." We did map reading. Mrs. Sims spun the big globe. She asked who could come up and point to the Indian Ocean. She called on Noah Jablonski. He missed it. She called on Diana Briggs. Not even close. She called on me. I nailed it. That's her favorite show.
And mine.
And his. And I enjoy it as well.
Okay.
In math, Mrs. Sims said by the end of the year, we're going to add and subtract numbers up to, she wrote on the board, 10,000. How much is that? She said. Joey called out, 1,000,000, because she wrote 10,000,000. Yeah. Mrs. Sims didn't even look at him. When you don't raise your hand, she ignores you. I raised my hand, she called on me. 10,000, I said. I was right. Mrs. Sims read us a story. It was about a city kid who spends his summer on a farm. When she came to a strange word, she stopped. The word was husbandry. Anybody know what a husbandry means? She asked the class. Do you know? A husbandry? It sounds like husband, but it says husbandry. Only one hand went up. Sit up, please, sir. Thank you. Emma Feldman said, a married man. Wrong. Joey's hand went up. 2 married men. Everyone laughed. I raised my hand. George, could I go to the dictionary and look it up? She smiled. Be my guest. I went to the dictionary. It sits on his own little table called a podium. Mrs. Sims spelled the word for me. I looked it up. I read aloud. On a farm, growing crops and raising animals. A couple of kids clapped. Joey whistled. Mrs. Sims glared at him. But I could tell she wasn't really mad. In the playground, I did a nice thing. We chose sides for a basketball game. I was a chooser. I chose the best players until the last one. Then I chose Walter Glipner. Everyone was shocked. Why do you think everyone was shocked when he chose Walter?
He was the worst.
Probably the worst. Including Walter. Nobody ever chooses Walter. When he shoots the ball, forget about the basket. He can't even hit the backboard. When Walter got over the shock, he stuffed his glasses in his pocket and cried out, "Let's go!" I never saw a kid so happy and excited. It made me feel so good. Mrs. Sims went to the fence talking to another teacher. I wonder if she saw what I did. Let's stop there for a second. So, Suds is doing all this stuff, so why? Why is he doing it?
So that girl can like him.
So he can get a halo. So what?
The girl that she likes to like him.
Maybe so that the girl so Judy can like him, but she's really probably doing it for a halo. How many of you know that you shouldn't do stuff just to get credit for it? Like you shouldn't do good stuff just to get credit for it. How many of you know that? Yeah, you should do good stuff because you want to do it, and it's a good thing to do. Not like, look at me, teacher, I'm picking up the trash off the floor. Look at me, I'm helping Braylon. No, that's not why you do good stuff. So let's see what's gonna happen. So he's trying to do good stuff, but he's trying to be seen doing it. Oh, and this is the picture of him picking Walter. Look at Walter's face. He's like, what? I can't believe it.
It's just on the front, like his eyes.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's see. I wondered if you saw what I did. At lunch, we had sloppy joes and green vegetables, peas. 3 days a week, we have a green vegetable. I never take it. This time I did. I was the only one at my table with peas. Joey picked one out of my dish and flicked it at Bernard Weber. Secretly, I hoped the other guys would dig in and start a big pea fight until there was any peas left. I ate my sloppy joe as slow as I could. I drank my chocolate milk, and still my dish was full of peas, -1. Lunch hour was almost over. I gobbled them down. I tried not to taste, but on the way back to class, I felt good. I felt like an angel. That's how I felt for the rest of the day. As I walked out the classroom, I said, "Goodbye, Mrs. Sims." She said, "Goodbye, George." And by the way she smiled at me, it was like she was sending me a message. You were perfect today. I was first onto the bus. As I sat there, I replayed the day in my head. Mrs. Sims was right. I was perfect. Uh-oh. I sat straight up in my bus seat. I looked out. I saw Mrs. Sims staring at her classroom window. I'm pretty sure she was looking at me. I'm pretty sure she was smiling. In a couple minutes, the bus was mobbed. Zipper Nose flopped into a seat right across the aisle from me. She had to lean forward because her pink backpack was so stuffed. She was like this. She didn't look at me. She was gabbing away with some other second grader in the seat in front of her. It was the weirdest feeling when I realized I was looking at her. I never look at her, but I was. And that's when a really scary question came to me. But you have to wait to find out what the question is, because that was the end of chapter 8. What do you think the question could be? He was looking at his sister like he'd never seen her before, and he thought of something.
Do I care? I'm so mean.
Do I care about her?
Has that always been mean?
Have I always been mean to her? Those are good questions for him to ask himself and self-reflect. I don't know what the question is. Do you think you know what the question is? Come back later and find out. See you later.